Aorist tense. Now, the way I've put it on the screen, I've written aorist and then I've written undefined right next to it because I want that to stick in your head. If I could, I'd have subliminal messages constantly flashing up, undefined in the background, so it gets stuck in your head. Aorist means undefined. Okay, it does not mean punctiliar action. Okay, I want to de-brainwash you from what you've been taught. It means undefined. So, best way I can explain it is to say it takes a snapshot picture of the event. Okay, so a minute ago we had the imperfect. We had the movie cameras showing the scene going on, people selling, buying. Nah, someone comes along, they ain't got a camcorder, but they want something for their scrapbook. They get their camera out and go, cha-ching. They've got a picture of people going. Now, look at that picture and you're like, these people, they sold stuff. How long did they sell it for? We don't know. When did they start selling it? When did they stop selling it? We don't know. It could be they sold it for that split second. We might have just caught this guy. He might be a complete miser. And for the 30 seconds of his life where he was a generous guy, he sold something, and that's all we can tell from the aorist. Could be. So it's not necessarily a completed action or a once-for-all action or a punctiliar action, as some people say. But we can also abuse the aorist by saying too little about it. And we don't want to just always be like, oh, we don't know. That's what we're going to look at now. So first one we're going to look at is constative aorist. Now, you're not going to remember all of this by the end of the day, but you've got it on your notes so you can refer to it when you're looking at a grammar. Constative aorist. This looks at the action as a whole and doesn't tell us anything about its precise nature. It's the most common usage of the aorist in the New Testament. So it's a snapshot. Snapshot photo. Here's an example. Matthew 16:24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Now, the underlined words there, deny and take up, they're both in the aorist. What does this tell you about being one of Jesus' disciples and following him? It's in the aorist tense. When we deny ourselves, how often should we deny ourselves? And I'm going to be a deconstructivist here. Forget about all your theology that you already know. Imagine you're a complete heathen, doesn't know anything about the Bible, but you know Greek grammar. And it says, must deny himself, aorist tense. What's that tell you?
Once.
Does it tell you once and for all?
No.
Or are you abusing the aorist there?
Yes, we're going in with the punctiliar, aren't we?
Yes, you're abusing the aorist. Please don't abuse the aorist.
Sorry.
It doesn't like it. Okay, so some people assume straight away, oh, it's a completed action. You deny yourself once. And then take up the cross. How many times do you take up your cross? We don't know. When Matthew wrote this, he didn't think it necessary to explain how often you deny yourself and take up the cross. So he used the aorist. When people abuse the aorist, they read something that Matthew didn't want to put there. Now check it out. This is how we know. One of the ways we know about abusing the aorist. Luke 9:23. And he was saying to them all, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself, aorist tense, and take up, aorist tense, his cross daily and follow me. It uses the aorist tense and then it says daily. So how often do you take up your cross? Every day. So is the aorist a once and for all thing? No. So when we read aorist, we've got to be careful. We don't say, okay, this is a once for all action. All we know is it's a snapshot of the action. When Matthew does it, he does a snapshot of it, of just taking up the cross. You don't know if it's daily. Luke does a snapshot, but then says daily. In a film, it could be like just a picture, a snapshot of a still frame of someone holding a cross, and then the narrator says, or Jesus says, daily. So you see the snapshot, but you know, it's daily. Okay? So, then we got the ingressive aorist. And this emphasizes the beginning of an action. You all remember the word ingressive? Good. So it's emphasizing the beginning of the action. Translators may use the word became to translate. When you see the word became, could be an ingressive aorist. Now, there's no implication that the action continues. This is different to the imperfect. Doesn't mean the action doesn't continue. It means you don't know. There's no implication that it continues. Here's an example. John 11, verse 35. It says Jesus wept in the New American Standard, in the updated version. Now the NRS says Jesus began to weep because it's aorist. Now, if you just read it as constative, then you come up with Jesus wept. It's just a snapshot. Jesus wept. Don't know too much about it. New Revised Version says Jesus began to weep. Now, here's the deep thing. If you do your word study on the verb for weep and combine it with your grammar, and you find a lot of commentators saying it's the ingressive aorist, what it means is Jesus burst into tears. And that just makes it a whole lot more vivid than we normally see it. Normally it's like, oh, Jesus wept. But you do your word study, see what that word means, and then you see that it's emphasizing the beginning of it. You're like, this is saying Jesus burst into tears. You know, that makes this the shortest verse, but one of the most meaningful verses about the life of Jesus. Jesus burst into tears. You find that in Robertson's word pictures if you look for that. Here's another example of what could be the ingressive. I'm not saying it is, it could be. Mark 13, verse 30. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Talking about the end times, right? Talking about all the crazy stuff going on. Cosmic disturbances. Now, if it's ingressive, I'm saying if it's ingressive, it could mean until all these things begin to take place. It's a strong argument for it because it's argued it's a weak argument to say that generation just means the Jewish race in general. Then again, other people say the generation, they could be talking about the generation living at the time that these things happen. If you were writing an exegetical paper, you would put all these arguments in there. You wouldn't just pick your favorite one and preach it. You put them all there, and then you would say why you favor the particular one you favor. So that's ingressive. Now we've got consumative aorist. And this is used to stress the cessation of an act or a state. So the ingressive emphasizes the beginning, but the consumative stresses the end of an act, the fact that it's done, which is what a lot of people assume every usage of the aorist is. But it isn't. But there is a legitimate use of it called consumative. It's also, you'll hear terms like culminative, ecbatic, and effective. So when you read those, just think consumative. Now, here's an example. Revelation 5:5. Stop weeping. Behold, the Lion that is from the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has overcome so as to open the book and its 7 seals. Right there, it's emphasizing he has overcome. It's not just saying, it doesn't appear to be a snapshot like he's overcome, there's a snapshot. We don't really know what's happening. It's emphasizing, no, he's done it. And that is why he is able to open a book and its 7 seals. That's consumative. Then we got proleptic aorist. Proleptic, oh, these are hard words. Describing an action that will occur in the future. And it's stressing the certainty that the event will occur. Does that sound familiar? Back with the old present tense, futuristic. Okay, so here it's stressing the certainty that the event will occur. It's not common at all, by the way. Mark 11:24. Therefore I say to you, all things for which you pray and ask, believe that you have received them, and they will be granted you. Now this is what's called a rhetorical transfer of a future event as if it was happening now. Okay? Now, it's important to notice because you could misunderstand this verse and actually believe if you've got a bad back and you ask that your back would be healed, then you actually have to cognitively think, no, my back is healed right now. And even if you're in incredible pain, you've got to jump out of bed in the morning, which is what I was told years ago, and say, my back is under authority. Someone says, how's your back? It's under authority. The doctors don't understand you, but that's what you're supposed to say. Now, really, when you look at the language here, it's a rhetorical transfer. It's not actually saying that, yes, you have received it. It's saying you pray with the certainty. It's important to understand the way people use language. So it's not some weird mumbo-jumbo magical thing, like, yes, I really do have it. It's like, well, maybe God didn't choose to heal you right now. It could be a reason for that. But the way you pray is you pray with certainty. So this is very important with Bible interpretation, that we know not just about idioms, but about the way people use the grammar to express things. Have I got another example? Yes. John 13:31. When Judas had gone out, Jesus said, now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. At this point in time, it doesn't appear Jesus was glorified. Jesus is talking about a future event that most certainly is going to happen. Now, for it to happen, Judas has to go and betray him. So it's like, aha, now I'm going to be glorified and God's going to be glorified. It's certain this is going to happen. Now we're going to look at the immediate past, or the dramatic aorist. This is helpful. Immediate past is talking about an event that happened recently. And to aid you in your translation or understanding, you imagine the words just now being in there. Some translations might even put the words just now. Here's an example, Ephesians 3:3, that by revelation there was made known to me the mystery as I wrote before in brief. Now, some people have been led to think, aha, there's a missing letter. Where's the letter? But if it's an immediate past, he's saying just now. He's saying, check out what I wrote above. It's like when we say see above in brackets. And Paul's saying, I wrote this just now. Check it out. Which can really help you out, because then you're like, what does he mean? We don't have his missing letter. Oh no, you won't understand it. Why did God inspire him to write that? So, and the Net Bible will tell you that. If you get the Net Bible, which is, at the moment, got to be the best study Bible you can have. If you've got the Net Bible, it will actually tell you that in the notes, which is just wonderful. So, we're going to do the practicals now. And I think as we do the practicals, these will become clearer. It's not that by you listening to me, you're going to immediately understand these things, but by doing them, you will. So I encourage you, do the homework this week as well, because it's by doing that these things will stick in your head. Revelation 6:17, for the great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to stand? Now, what aorist do you think it is? I hear someone saying ingressive, which would be emphasizing the beginning of the action, but not necessarily telling us it continues, but saying the day has come. It's just started. Okay, could be ingressive. What other ideas are there? Proleptic, meaning what? The day of the Lord is coming. It's going to happen. It's going to be here.
So certain that he's
Okay.
saying it has that.
Yeah. Let me show you another one. This might help you. Context of the book, Revelation 19:7. Let us rejoice and be glad and give the glory to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. I really don't think it's consumative. I don't think you'll find anyone who says it's consumative. Could be wrong. Check it out for yourselves. But what I want you to see, really, is one of the ways we can combine grammar with word searches. Because what you would do is you would do a word search for the word has come. And you would look at it in the exact form, and then you would go through all of these. Let me just show you here. Last week, you were looking up words based on their Strong's number. Okay? This time, we're going to do something different. Someone give me the verse again. What was it? Revelation 6:17. Well done. Okay. Now, this time, we've got this word here. This is the word we're looking for come, right? Now, there's no Strong's number next to it. I didn't look for one with a Strong's number, okay? This is the word for has come. That's a eta, that's a lambda, that's a theta, that's an epsilon, that is a nu. How do you reckon you pronounce that? Alphen. Now, what I do is, I don't even need to highlight it actually, I right click on it and I say search. So it's not going to search on the Strong's, it's going to search on that exact spelling, which means we're going to get the aorist for the word come. Okay, so now I'm going to say New Testament and I'm going to say search. New Testament, it didn't go in there. Okay, let me try something else. This time I'm going to try copying it and pasting it. Copy, paste, search. There you go. We've got lots of occurrences there. Now what you need to then do is go through each one and see when it's being used in the same way as how it's being used in Revelation. And I've already done that for you. Here's one I prepared earlier. Some of the stuff. We've got this, the marriage of the Lamb has come, which doesn't appear to be talking about a past event, doesn't appear to be consummative. Reason why I say is because some people say, misunderstanding the aorist, they say it says their wrath has come, and they say that it's a retrospective tense, where it's going through all the previous seals and saying these are part of the day of the great day of their wrath. Now you can't argue that. You can't, and you'll find people, scholars who say you can't argue that. Okay, now let's look at another one. Revelation 14:15. Put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap has come, because the harvest of the earth is ripe. Now we're not seeing a retrospective usage of this word to come. So I would say that in Revelation 6:17, that what it's talking about is it's an ingressive. The great day of their wrath has come, ingressive. Either ingressive or proleptic. Now, you can't put too much weight on it because it's unregenerate men who are saying it. Okay, so you've got to be careful about teaching a doctrine on it. But what you can say is the perception of the non-believers at this time is either the great day of their wrath has just begun, or it's just about to happen and it's going to happen with certainty.